News this morning, operations at the Pikeville Federal Courthouse have been suspended and all trials are now to take place elsewhere. And a hometown band in eastern Kentucky is bringing major awards and titles home to the mountains as far as Hollywood.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this Monday, November 10th. We're at 6:29 this morning and of course ready for a check of our weather with meteorologist Megan Dusmal on this snowy day of November. I think we can call it the first snow of the season.
It is the first snow of the season, and it's definitely exciting to start seeing some of those snow flurries across the mountains. Now, as we head into the afternoon, we will be seeing snow chances picking up, some heavy snow chances in the forecast, and a winter weather advisory has been put in place in that purple shade for all of the WYMT viewing area with the exception of Claiborne County, Tennessee. So be prepared for some of those heavier snow chances later on this afternoon. Now, in terms of this morning, just a little bit of some flurries here and there, but as we zoom out, you can see the heavier snow up in Indiana and Ohio that will be making its way into our region as we're heading into the early afternoon clearing by the time we're heading into the late evening around 8 p.m. Amelia.
Thanks, Megan. Early morning fog caused a serious crash in southern Kentucky that shut down parts of the interstate for hours. The Knox County Sheriff's Office says they were called to an accident involving multiple vehicles at around 5:40 Saturday morning. It happened on Highway 25, about 6 miles outside of Corbin. Deputies say a pedestrian was among those hurt when she got out of her car to check for damage and was hit by another vehicle. 3 other people were hurt. All of them are expected to be okay. Because of poor visibility in the fog, no one was cited. UK quarterback Zach Calzada is feeling some pressure from the public. In a video shared to social media, the 7th-year QB is seen flashing a big wad of cash in response to a disgruntled fan. An upset fan named Garrett called him out on social media, saying the now backup quarterback is immature and not a good football player. The back and forth got the attention of Kentucky Sports Radio Friday morning.
What kind of an idiot goes and gets $20,000 in cash, carries it around, takes it into his apartment, and then flaunts it on video? What kind of an idiot does that?
A member of UK Athletics said they were aware of the video and planned to talk to Calzada, saying it's unbecoming of a student athlete at Kentucky. Operations at the Pikeville Federal Courthouse have been suspended and all trials are now to take place in Ashland and London. Authorities and attorneys and leaders in the Pikeville communities say the closure of the federal courthouse came as a shock, even though it's been an ongoing discussion for years. The order came down weeks before last from a federal judge suspending all legal proceedings by the space by December 31st, that is, which attorney Mark Wolander claims is not a good move for the people of the mountains since they'll now have to travel even more for any federal litigation.
I don't know what the reason was. I'm sure it was financial reasons, but we don't even have any federal presence out here with law enforcement. What do we have? 2 FBI agents. We have ATF agents that are up in Huntington. The people deserve to have a federal presence. It's just that simple.
Pikeville Mayor Jimmy Carter says there's been no discussion about the future of the building, which is currently government property, but he is disappointed in the decision to close the courthouse. A new school was one step closer to reality in Perry County. The school district posted on social media that they now have the property for a new Robinson Elementary School off Highway 80 near the Elk Run subdivision. The old Robinson Elementary was destroyed in the July 2022 flood. Since then, students have been using the old A.B. Combs Elementary building. The U.S. Supreme Court issued an emergency order blocking the payment of November SNAP benefits. President Trump asked the Supreme Court to step in Friday night after an appeals court kept a ruling in place that would have required his administration to fund SNAP. The U.S. Department of Agriculture indicated it would pay November benefits. Then came Friday night's stay from the Supreme Court. More than 40 million Americans and 600,000 Kentuckians rely on SNAP benefits. In less than 24 hours, a local nonprofit pulled off a big mission. Roscoe's Daughter funded, gathered, and assembled more than 500 meal kits for students in the area. And Friday morning, those kits were delivered to children in critical need of weekend meals. WYMT's Neely Green tells us about the quick turnaround.
When you have a hard time at home, you can depend on that meal at school. But on the weekend, you lose access to that.
Kate Clemens, CEO and founder of the nonprofit Roscoe's Daughter, set plans in motion to help children and families facing uncertainty with their SNAP benefits.
When the SNAP crisis started, I immediately jumped into place and expanded the programs that we already have in place, such as our grocery voucher assistance program, which lets people shop at the grocery store to get what they need, also puts money back into the economy.
But her help didn't just stop there. Clemens was determined to do more. She reached out to family resource officials at more than 10 different schools in Knott and Perry counties. She created the Weekend Backpack Meal Program, and in less than 24 hours, that need was met.
We've worked together to focus on the most critical children at each school. These are the children who are at most risk of starvation, not just hunger, starvation. 500
children will now have meals for this weekend. The kits include breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, all of nutritional value.
And it's really important to me not to just throw stuff in a bag, but how can we make it nutritional for these kids? Because the SNAP crisis has been going on for a while. They probably have been struggling. So I try really hard to include fruit in the bag, a healthy balance of fat and carbohydrates and protein.
1 in 8 Americans receive assistance from SNAP, and Clemens says it's estimated in Knott County to be 1 in 4.
When government assistance is paused, Eastern Kentucky steps up. We will always take care of each other. That's the Eastern Kentucky way, and that's the story of Roscoe's Daughter. It's just lend a hand to your neighbor, because we could all be in this situation. It could happen to anyone.
Clemens says even when SNAP is restored, their mission stays the same, fighting against food insecurity. In Perry County, Neely Green, WYMT Mountain News.
Clemens says if SNAP is not restored by this weekend, they'll work again to deliver as many meal kits as possible. Appalachian Regional Healthcare is hosting a food drive for families through the end of November. You can drop off healthy, shelf-stable items at each of their hospitals. Donations will be distributed to local community partners serving families in need, including God's Pantry Food Bank. Nonprofit food chain in Lexington was filled with folks looking to give Saturday as the statewide day of action kicked off. Food Chain is a group based in Lexington that helps Kentucky communities get fresh food. One of the organizations there was Bluegrass Recovery. They've helped people in their journey to sobriety. Volunteer Andrew Combs says the issues of food insecurity or addiction are often linked.
A lot of people we have come out of treatment, or they have family or friends that don't have nothing. And even to the point before this, people would sell their snaps, do whatever they could. But now it's to the point now where it's a strong need for food. We're having people go to food pantries constantly. There's not a day that's went by this past week where I haven't had somebody contact me needing some kind of food.
Co-executive director Kristen Hughes says they're happy to be part of this given the increase in need they've seen. We'll have resources on how you can help those impacted by SNAP cuts on our website, WYMT.com. Well, as we approach Veterans Day, folks throughout the region are already getting ready to honor their loved ones who served. In downtown Hazard, a project months in the making is now on display, featuring servicemen and women from the mountains. Here's that story.
They now get to look down forever on this town that is flourishing because of the sacrifices they made.
As you make your way through downtown Hazard, make sure to keep an eye out for these special banners. They're hung up all along Main Street, honoring the brave men and women who fought for our country, saluting them ahead of Veterans Day.
Freedom, democracy, they fight for the rights that we enjoy as Americans.
Every year, the Hazard Civic Fellows work on a project for civic improvement. This year, City Commissioner Luke Glazer proposed the idea to create a database of Perry County veterans, gather pictures, and make banners to hang up downtown.
It is a physical reminder as you're driving through town. Now you get to look up at those banners and see people who have fought for this country, served this country, and in some cases have died for this country.
Kaylee Pennington is one of the Civic Fellows. She says she has a special connection to veterans.
My papa served in the Vietnam War, and his cause of death was Agent Orange. And so veterans are always something that's special to me.
But one veteran's story, whose picture is now downtown, impacted her in a big way.
I know he's kind of infamous in general, but Paul Baker, he's at the VA, but he served in like 3 wars. And that was something we talked about a lot, was like, there were a few people that served in 2, most in 1, but like 3.
The banners will be displayed through Veterans Day and then a new batch for Memorial Day. Well, if you are interested in someone you know being displayed downtown, you can go to our website, WYMT.com, to find more details. After the Johnson Central football team's Thursday night victory, hundreds of folks gathered on the field, not discussing football, but celebrating faith. A student-led revival broke out on the sidelines, fueled by students who attended an ongoing 14-day revival at Hager Hill Free Will Baptist Church. Pastor Ronnie Spriggs says the Awakening Revival has expanded far past the church walls, which have also been torn down to accommodate the growing desire to worship. Spriggs says he was blessed to be called to the field to see dozens of people leave as new professing Christians.
So last night we left here and went down to the football field at the request of the football players, who most of them have been saved through this meeting. And they had to play football last night, and they wanted to have church.
He says the revival will keep going as long as people are showing up. Andrew Moore and Hooch, a hometown band in Eastern Kentucky, is bringing major awards and titles home to the mountains from cities like Hollywood, Nashville, and Atlanta. Some of their most recent awards are Band of the Year, multi-genre at the Grand Ole Opry, Josie Music Awards, and Blues Song of the Year for their song Tyrant at the Hollywood Independent Music Awards in Hollywood. They're also added into the initial ballot for the Grammy Award nominations.
We did not get nominated on the final ballot, which that's okay. We're thankful for what we have so far, but even just to be mentioned in that conversation and be on the ballot, on the initial ballot, as some of the few that are even on there, we feel very proud about that.
Andrew Moore and Hooch will be playing at London's annual New Year's Eve ball drop event. To see their full schedule, you can visit their website at andrewmoorehooch.com. The Commonwealth is gearing up for the first round of snow showers this winter. Road crews across Kentucky are ready after spending the past month prepping trucks and stockpiling salt. J.R. Brandenburg is the director of the Scott County Roads and Maintenance. He says his crew is more than prepared for the winter weather, and they have 3 brand new trucks and a barn full of 5,000 tons of salt to keep the roads clear.
I always fill it up going into the snow season. That helps for a good night's sleep sometimes. You don't want to run out of salt.
Brandenburg says the best thing we can do is be prepared by staying weather aware. You can also keep a couple of extra bags of salt in your garage for the coming months.
We saw very warm temperatures this past weekend, upper 70s for your Friday and Saturday. So thankfully those roadways are on the warmer side. However, with the cold temperatures that we're going to see today and tomorrow morning, roadways are going to start dropping in temperature. Right now we're looking at a mixture of some upper 20s and low 30s as you're beginning your day. Still seeing some flurries this morning, but heavier snowfall is on the way as we're heading into the afternoon. That will continue throughout the afternoon and evening hours, clearing by 8 p.m. So here's a look at that forecast for you. Again, some flurry chances this morning. Temperatures in the upper 20s, and as you're heading home from work or school, we're looking at the low 30s with some of those heavier chances for snow. Amelia.
Thanks, Megan, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning at 6:42. Coming up, an ATM featuring dog treats. We have more about how one bank is using man's best friend to draw more in-person customers.
Travel for